Hello!
Hello!
And as promised, or as suggested, I'm going to do another bit of video streaming tonight. I'm trying a tiny experiment here. You'll notice I've got a slightly different layout, so I've got my work up here, and I've tried to get the chat actually into the window over there, or over there. Sorry, I'm looking at it the wrong way. So with the chat there, that means that people viewing this and viewing recordings can see what's going on in chat. Again, experiment. We'll see how that goes. Hold on. The camera is slightly... Oh, there we are. Is that better?
Yeah, better.
That's better. Okay. And I don't know who else is watching. So when you join, do say hello, please. And what we're going to do... So last night we did a bunch of desoldering on this board. Helena is, if you hold up, she's cutting this open for me. She's using the side cutters, or do you want some scissors for it instead?
I'm okay, I think.
Yeah, just watch your fingers, okay. And we're going to solder this board up. I'm also going to solder the spare... Oh, hello, Mobius Horizons.
Hello!
Glad we made one together again. That's awesome. So I'm just going to add this. This is a replacement transistor for the FET that was blown on Lee Lipinski's board. And after doing that, I'm going to solder this. I think there were some other solder jobs in the cupboard.
Oh, yeah.
There's also some other 3D printing random bits that we'll talk about at some point.
This.
Oh, yeah, you're quite pleased with that.
I love it. And for my friend's birthday, it wasn't really real. He told a lie.
Spoiler, but there we go.
And
well, not for you guys, but for you. So, shall I just... Do you know what this one is?
Boat.
It's a test. So, it's... what was it? Benchy. There's a Benchy boat. And I made... This is Battle Benchy, which I've got from Thingiverse. And Battle Benchy is, well, Benchy turned into a battleship. It's a bit silly because if you kind of go, well, if the tower's up here and then there's the little kind of tugboat thing here. But I thought it was fun. Yes, I fixed it. Somebody at work came through with a spare part, a spare bracket for me. You know, we ended up talking. Turns out he's been printing with PLA. And not only that, it came in the zombie green, which works. Oh, what's this? Helena's showing this product. Do you want to talk about what we've got? What that is?
I'm not sure. Oh, here. The actual board is over here.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just pop that there?
Yeah, go for it. Do you know what the board is?
I think it's a Raspberry Pi or maybe a CNC board.
It's a Raspberry Pi board. Try not to drop the bits. It's all right.
This? I don't know what it is.
So, it is... Hold on. Where is it? And then the box has no longer got the... You had the... The Slice of Pi I/O. So, it's an I/O expansion board for a Raspberry Pi. It's a V1.2, which means it's designed for the... Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to switch cameras just so we can get a... So I think that, if I'm not wrong, that's an MCP 28017. That's an I/O expander. I believe that's a... So that will be, you use 1 or 2 serial pins and then you get many serial pins out of it.
And we got
or many pins of I/O. Lots of stuff to solder. Oh, awesome. Let's get rid of the box because it's going to be in the way.
Yeah.
And it's reasonably obvious. So I just have to actually...
There's one more bit.
Oh, okay. It's just a nylon bolt. That's just to thread it onto the Pi. Do you want to put the nylon bolt into my screw collection? Because I don't believe it's actually... Oh, wait a minute. No, there's nothing else bolted down, so we'll do that with that.
Ha! You have a screw collection.
Actually, we'll have to check the data sheet on that Mobius Horizons to see if that is the I2C one or just zero. It probably is an I2C one. I guess, what does it say in here? So, driven by the MCP 23017, I2C based. So, it's got an address selector on the back of the PCB. Okay, so here's the PCB. And, okay, there's the address selector. So, there's some little tiny bridges. And I suppose we just solder bridge those over to set the I2C date.
What do you mean?
I2C address. So, those... Oh, we've messed with the focus yesterday. There you go. Do you see those tiny little double pads there next to those pins?
You mean those? Those two?
I mean these double. So there's 6 of those rows.
Oh, yeah.
So those 6 rows are so I can probably pull these pins high and low, and that will change the address of this. So I can have more than one of these boards daisy chains on. So I2C. Do you know what I2C is? I2C. Was it? It's inter-chip interchange. Or in-circuit interchange. I can't remember what the actual acronym is, but what it is, you've got a bus with a clock line and a data line.
Acronym?
It's an acronym. You asked that yesterday.
What's an acronym?
It's 3 letters used to describe or abbreviation.
Very nice.
Yeah. So you've got a data line that two devices or multiple devices can talk to each other with. Yeah. So you've got one master, and the master in this case would probably be a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino or a microbit or something of that nature. And the master will then be controlling the bus and go, ask, say, one of these, can you do something for me? Then the master will let go of the bus, and one of these will then signal on the bus, here's your answer for what I've done for you. And so you can kind of expand devices using this I2C. In I2C, you only need 2 wires, the clock and the data. You still need power and ground, but...
These are my wires. 1, 2 wires.
Those aren't wires.
I know, I'm pretending.
Oh, okay. You're just being silly. Yeah.
No, I'm not being silly.
Oh, you're just pretending batteries are wires. That's fair enough. That's all right.
I'm just making sure that I fully know what I'm...
Yes, so 3D printer's still working, and I was very pleased that someone at work came through with... And they actually didn't... I mean, they actually printed... I updated the design. So just before Christmas, for people who've not been keeping up, or I've not seen what I did a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter as well. I haven't really kind of done it on YouTube. The 3D printer, a bracket for the Z thing broke completely, and I replaced it multiple times, and one of my replacements broke just before Christmas, and as I went to try and fit the last replacement, the part shattered and I was left with none. So over Christmas there was no working 3D printer. And I sat and redesigned something in Fusion 3D, Fusion 360, and someone actually printed out for me. I'll have to go and add shots in afterwards because I don't really have anything to hand here to show it, and I can't really drag the cameras over to the printer there.
But Dad,
but it works. That's a drag chain. I printed that quite a while ago. That was before the printer was fixed and broken, or broken and fixed.
But it's so cool because it can bend and bend and twist and bend and bend and bend and twist and bend.
Do you know what that's designed for?
This area.
Up there on the printer. So it's designed so a cable can bend one way but not the other. So it won't fall down and interfere and stuff. Let's not move the camera because it'll be
hard.
Well, it'll wobble lots.
Oh, yeah,
those are pretty cool. But the drag chain's really handy, and in this case it kind of, because what was happening on the printer is
the cable kept getting stuck on
the cable fell down and got snagged. Okay, Mobius, I will see if, I'll try and remember this at the end, because now I can review the chat and remember what I've said I've done.
Which one?
I'll do.
Which one? Mobius.
Mobius is the one person in chat right now.
I know, but which
so
one?
I'm going to share a link for this. Hold on.
This or this?
No, this. I think he'd like to print one of these.
Which
what,
one?
the battle benchy?
Yeah, which one?
Oh,
Mobius,
I was assuming he meant this. You could be right.
I'm not sure. Mobius, which one is it?
I can give you links to both. I can link them both in.
Okay. Mobius.
I'll link them both in afterwards. So I've got the designs for the drag chain, and this one I've stuck the extra slot in. The slot is because a lot of them have a closed slot, and that means you can only kind of slide it onto a cable. But if you've got connectors at both ends, that's not going to work. The drag chain.
The drag chain.
So this one I can kind of just press onto a cable. Obviously this cable's the wrong gauge for it. Well, it kind of goes in. So you press it on, and then maybe you clip around the side.
Well, that is pretty fun, benchy. Yeah,
it's pretty fun, benchy. The only thing about this benchy is it kind of shows up around the cannon.
And the middle.
They look pretty bad, and that's all of the stringing on my printer. So I may try one of these at a different temperature and see if I can get a better result. And I've got this horrible brown burn mark up here as well.
Brown burn mark? Let me see. I want to see. Ew, it looks like burnt coffee. Or
I think
spilt coffee
maybe the print head rested there for too long or something. I don't know. It's going to be my slicing parameters.
Yeah, it does look a bit like a spilt piece of coffee on it.
Yeah, no, well, there's one, pretty much there's one on each side, so I think it's just the way it was sliced. What temperature am I using? I think this was done at 195, maybe 200. So I'm using PLA. The current bed I have been using is glass with good old glue stick.
Also, probably the minimum
layer time. That might be the case. I mean, if you look at it, it may still be too hot because if you look at the smokestack on the top here, it's a horrible mess, and that's obviously maybe the cooling isn't great because it's come out like that. So it's
Maybe when it does it, it melts and melts and melts down.
Well, what's also weird is along here you got this. You see the gap there. And I have another print showing this. If you look at the turrets, there's these gaps here, and I fixed it after this. But there was also some lash in the Y direction where the Y belt was stretched, and so if you were doing a round part, you'd find that instead of it being round, you'd kind of end up with like this.
Square.
So you'd end up, well, not quite a square, but you'd end up, instead of it touching, they'd be off because as it went one way, it wouldn't come quite the full way back until it caught up with itself, which is really horrid, and I fixed that. Yeah. Okay, let's put this aside from the soldering. Let's have, oh, sorry, from the, yeah, I'll have a go at this. So there's Lee Zapinski's board with his FET that I've just replaced. Yesterday I pulled out the old one. I've screwed it in. Oh, where's the other board? Oh, I've put the other board over there. I've just given myself a bit of room to solder with.
Okay, I'll just go and show them on the camera like this.
Oh yeah, so the other board is my board. This is Lee's board, and I'm basically putting in a replacement FET because it got
this has a bit
thoroughly blown.
Difference though. There's a black dot on there, which isn't really too bad. Just a black pen.
Oh, yeah, the solder's being wicked through the hole.
This piece is broken on it. This piece.
Which piece?
This one. Remember the inside.
Oh, on his is, yes. On mine, it's perfect. This is my board, so my fuse is still working.
Blew up and this fuse saved it.
The fuse saved mine, but mine is actually currently all working. Well, I say currently working. Mine was working until I disassembled it to test Lee's in there. That's the only reason mine's not working. Okay, I'll let that cool and I'll trim those flat. Oh, sorry. Did you even see me soldering that, Helena? You totally missed. I soldered those 3 in already.
Oh, Dad.
That was so quick.
Also, probably... Oh, wait. That sounds about all right.
So he's talking about the layer time on the 3D printing that we were talking earlier.
Yes,
okay. So let's solder this in. And that's the top of it. Oh, there we go. It's all fairly clearly indicated. I am going to do it bit by bit.
Dad, can I do a bit of soldering?
Ooh, okay, we can try that now. I'm going to let you do the smaller thing as opposed to the big things, I think, then.
Because I really want to try.
I understand.
So I can get experience and do it when I'm older. Because I really want to do it when I'm older.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
When did you started doing electronics, Dada?
I reckon, I don't know, I reckon I'd have been a child as well. Maybe a little bit older than you. Maybe closer to 10 or 12 or something like that. But
so you learnt
I did. I didn't have a soldering iron as big as this, though. I had a little tiny, it was like a Weller pencil wand, a little tiny cheap thing. It was like 10 watt. You know, it was a...
Really?
Yeah, it was
so
a little
it was a bit like the size of my pencil.
Let's clamp this board. This board's going to be tricky because I can't use this clamp because the big old clamp's just not going to cut it.
There, my pencil. So it was about the size of... What do you mean it's about the size of that?
Yeah, maybe a bit fatter, but yeah, so what I'm gonna do here, Helena, is I've got many pins to solder on, and I probably want to clamp it for the rest of them. But the first 2 pins, I'm just gonna rest it on the table here. Yeah.
Are we doing Lee's board, or are we gonna do the fun board?
We're gonna do both because the soldering iron's hot. So I heat up the joint. Am I in shot? You can make sure I'm in shot too. And once the joint is heated,
I'm not. I'm just gonna.
We add solder, and there we go. And there's the joint. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, probably the same here. My dad could.
You got to solder some of the parts. Awesome.
I was probably 10. I'm 8.
I think my first electronics kits were. I was probably about 10 or so, and I think my first one I had a crystal radio kit, which didn't require any soldering, but it required days and days of windings. I remember a crystal earpiece, a little tiny diode, not entirely understanding how the crystal radio was powered through, how it worked with the inductive power and all of this.
I know it might be a bit small, that bit, though. Yeah.
And
Really read that bit.
oh
That's
no,
why
you
we
can
have
read
that
over there,
chat
but then
window.
people can maximise this screen to read that.
I
It's fine.
guess they can go.
Well, it depends on the video quality. I mean, I suppose I didn't think about maybe changing the text on the.
Good we had this because last time we didn't hear any of the fan. It was
That's a good
amazing.
Yeah, the noise, the sound quality. Oh gosh, look how. Right, there we go. Look, I've got these two. So what I've done, Helena, is I've just tacked on the opposite corners a little bit of solder, which holds this in place so it won't keep dropping out. And that makes the next bit a little bit easier, where I can then just go, okay, I'll just pop it in.
I clamp it.
Yeah. So I'll press the orange button first, so push it first, and then, yeah, now twist it, just gently twist it. Doesn't need to be tighter than. That's enough, that's it, that's all. So only got to stop it wobbling. It's not really, we're not going to try it, because if you twist it too much, it's going to go crush.
Oh, yeah.
So again, and
Can I try, please?
can you try? So, take the iron. Now, I'm probably going to be saying the obvious here, but since this is my little daughter who's going to try it, I'm going to be very clear to her. Actually, I'm going to tin that. Do not touch anything past... So you've got a collar here, this rubber yellow collar. Do not touch anything past the rubber yellow collar. That down to there is all hot enough that it will take your skin off. So don't mess with anything below there. I'm a little bit worried about you soldering. So what you do, okay, so you've got a pointy bit here.
Yeah.
You put it on the joint where it's touching both the leg and the pad. And you add solder. You take the iron off. You see that lovely joint there? So we got solder. The solder, so you've got to heat the joint before you add the solder. Yeah? What not to do is to push the solder into the iron. You push the solder into the joint.
Oh! What happens if you heat the solder into the iron?
If the joint is cold, then the solder won't stick very well, and you get what's known as a dry joint.
Oh, sorry, I'm going to go and get
Oh
the
dear,
phone.
the phone is ringing. Go on,
Oh dear, phone problem.
Okay, I'm going to carry on for a minute. Do you want to bring it to...
Hello? Who is it?
Oh.
Is it Juliet? I'm great. I'm doing a video at the moment. You need wrapping?
Okay. Helena's dealing with that, and I have made a slight bodge there.
So you want him up? I'm just doing a video with my dad, a live video, so it might not be the right time to call, okay?
Oh, if she wants Rafi to go up, just let him know.
Okay. He can come up.
Family life video. What can you do? This corner where I have my studio we're in our new flat, but this corner of the studio is still a corner of our living room. So it's not a proper studio. It's a corner of the living room. It's a little bit more enclosed than it was before.
Sorry,
but it's still part of the family. Do you want to maybe pop the? Oh no, there we go. He's gone. I can say you can pop the phone because it's cordless out in the. Right. Okay, Helena.
I hope that he doesn't notice about it.
Oh, people will notice. It's fine.
Oh, it's
okay.
a phone.
Right,
Come on.
Helena. The other thing I want to say is,
Don't like it.
don't touch the coil area because all this coil is kind of basically taking heat away. Yeah. And so, okay, let's see.
Just touch
So
about there.
don't. Yeah. So you take a seat. Let's swap seats.
Yeah, for a minute.
Ever so slightly nervous about this, but let's
I'm
try
ever
it.
so slightly nervous.
It's always the first time. Let's also keep your hair out of the way because it will just make your hair frazzle and fry. Okay, it'll be. You want it? Okay, so
Take a bit of the solder.
that's it. Take a bit of the solder.
Hold it.
Make sure you got control of that, but don't hold it too close to where you're gonna. Yeah, you got it. Okay. All right. Choose a pad you're gonna do. You're gonna do maybe this third one there.
Third one next to the
That
other
one. Okay. So heat up the pad and the leg. Can you see the pad and the leg? Can you see them both?
Yeah.
So touch the soldering iron to the pad and the leg. Ooh, and hold it there for a second. And push the solder in to the pad. And then take the iron off. That's it. And then stab the iron into this bit. That's it. And then put the iron back in the rack. That's your first solder joint.
Daddy.
Do you want to do another?
Yeah.
Go on then, do another. Carefully does it though. Go on then.
careful, be careful.
Alright, so choose another pad, heat it up.
Next one.
Feed in some more solder. Ooh, that's enough, yep. Good, cool. You can do many that way now. So you don't have to return it back to there. No, you don't need that anymore. You don't need any more of the tinner and cleaner. Yep, so just, that's it. And now you can just do pad to pad to pad. Now whatever you do, don't let your fingers touch the iron. Yeah, if your fingers, the sides of your fingers touch the side of the iron, you'll be hurting. Yeah, give yourself more here. Yeah, don't let yourself get close to the iron. Whatever you do. Oh, congratulations! It's pretty good fun. It is pretty good fun, isn't it? I don't know. I'm probably being like slightly helicopter-y and too much of a protective daddy, but you know who can blame me, right? I know what. Oh, now no, you need more solder on that joint. Yeah. Put a bit more, heat it up, and a bit more in. Yep, now let it go. See, notice it's like a tent. You see, it's like a... Yeah, you got it. You're doing better soldering at 8 than I was doing at 20. Now watch out, that finger's getting... Oh no, it's not, it's just my perspective. It looked like it was getting close. It's
no,
alright.
It is.
Oh, is it? Reel yourself out more solder if you feel like you're getting closer. Cool. Put...
Go. Oh,
yeah, give yourself way more, okay? Because you really, I have burned myself with soldering irons. There probably will be a first time. I don't want that to be today. I don't want that to be here because it's not nice at all. Mobius, I bet you still remember having had 1 or 2 soldering iron burns. Yeah, they're not fun, not at all. I've done it more than once. Hey, you've done a whole row. Excellent. Good stuff. Do you want to stab the cleaner?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good girl. You got it. That's the deal. The springy stuff. And those are reasonably good joints. I mean, there's a tiny... that's all right. I mean, there's a tiny bit of cleanup, but it's not... It's... I could show you solder of mine that's way worse. That's really good, Helena.
Thank
do you want to do the other row, or shall I do it, or what?
Which row?
There's another row here.
Oh, can I do it?
Okay, let's spool you off some more.
So it's the next one right there.
Yeah, that's it. Ooh. Heat up the pad and leg, remember, before feeding the solder. Oh, it's alright, don't worry, we'll get rid of that blob. It's alright. Now, also, whatever you do, give yourself more solder, spool out more, because you're... Don't let your fingers make contact with that iron. You may have luck pulling... Look, he said here, you may have more luck pulling more off the roll than just holding the solder wire. So look, yeah? Alright, pull more off the roll and you can just hold the wire.
Thank you, Morris. I need to carry on that one. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you might want to hold the wire a bit because you're kind of holding the spool, and I get why. What if I did this? Hold on. What if, as a bodge, hold on, let go for a second. I wonder if that's going to work, or if that's going to... There. Right. And now you can just pull it through, and then... I store my solder roll up on a shelf with a lip, so I can just pull it whenever I need more. Yep. I've just... There we go. I have just bodged a solder spool right there for her. Don't let your fingers get so close to the iron, please, miss. Okay, right. And now... Oh, yeah, that's all right. So now there's a tiny bit of cleanup. Shall I show you how to do the cleanup? Those are all reasonable. Right, don't forget to stab the... Yep, that's it. Okay, cool. And replace the iron. That's awesome. So the cleanup is a little bit trickier. Now this, I tend to...
I think I did a bit of wind now. Very nice, nice. I store my solder up on a cell lips so I can pull it whenever I need it more. Yep.
It is very nice. I'm very pleased. I am going to... Oh.
Can I try after you?
So this one, I'm just going to wick away... Oh, there's lots there. And then...
Dad, can I try, Dad? Show me?
So... Hold on, I'll trim this off. I'll just show you how. Yes. Okay, well, you'll notice here...
You can use your
can you see the...
special scissors.
You see the spent wick?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to cut that off.
So you have to cut a
aim
piece
it
of
down,
it.
and I'll not touch the metal because the metal is hot. Okay.
No.
And I'll just pull a little bit more through. It's still hot, so I'm just going to use these. I'm going to be right.
Cheater.
And is there? It's not a cheater. So you see, you've got some sprinklings of solder down there.
Yeah.
Now this is. There's a bit there, and that's across one of the bridges. You place this here.
And
You then hold the iron above it. So if I do this stuff over there, yeah, you see that? Only a tiny bit. You basically just put the iron on it, and it kind of just cleans it up a bit. And that's it, really. So, do you want to try that one? So if you take the iron and hold the wick only by this for now, so you don't burn yourself, and try and get that big lump there. Can you? Not that one. That lump there, yeah, just on those. So, and don't get it over the pins because it'll suck all the solder away from the pins as well. That's it. Now move it around a teeny bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, look, there's a lump there. So I just blow on that. So if you put the iron away for a second, maybe if we just blow on the board. What's this? Let's use this because it's going to be hot. Yeah, this. See that lump there? So if you whip that, that's it. You got it. And put the iron on top. And then move it round a teeny bit. Desoldering is probably the time I'm most likely to burn on myself. That soldering iron braid gets very hot, so don't hold the actual metal, even if you hold it far away from the metal. So just, yeah, he's right. Don't make sure you don't actually touch the metal of the braid because it gets so hot, and I've burned my fingers doing that more than once. That's why I'm holding the reel, and why I've said to her from the outset, touch the reel, don't touch the braid because it gets so hot. How are we doing? Awesome. Okay, don't worry about that too much. So, do you want to do another bit, or shall I do the rest?
You mean this?
More soldering.
Oh, soldering, real soldering.
Yeah. So
Yes,
the next
please.
bit is going to be tricky, because now, the next problem is, so we've got to take the board out. Now, if you press the orange button, I'm watching your hands, because orange button, big orange button, press that, and you can just pop out the clamp. Okay, there's our board. So we've now fixed in the chip holder. Okay.
I want to do more soldering.
Where did the chip go? There's the chip. We'll hold on to the chip over there. And now we've got a bunch of different bits. So we'll put that over here. You're going to do more soldering.
More soldering.
Sweet. Well,
that's my soldering song.
So, board is slightly hot. Don't touch in the middle. Just touch it from the outside. Yeah? And basically you want to line up the board on these. Now, thinking about this,
what about in there?
They need to go the other way up. That needs to go in the bottom there. We got a picture? Yeah, look at the picture as well. So the picture here shows the solder pads going this way up. And the reason this goes in the bottom is then when you've got this soldered in on the bottom, you can basically just plug this in on top of a pie.
Oh!
Makes sense?
So now I'll solder it in.
So, with a long thing like this, okay, have you got it? You see what you're doing clearly? Now, do the two corners. So do two opposite corners first to get it held in first. And I'll tell you what, I'll help you hold it in well. I'm going to regret this, aren't I? And do the other one. You needed way more solder. Don't forget, heat the pin and the pad and then bring solder in. Feed the solder in from the end. Okay. Oops.
Cut the clamp, Daddy.
Pin and the pad. Now feed the solder in. Well, once you got this tacked in, we'll do the clamp. And this one needs a bit more. Sorry. Oh, okay. You can do that one. Okay. All right. Well, those still need a bit more, but okay. Stab, stab, stab. And now we can have the clamp. Good idea. Oh, it's okay. Put the iron away. Always put the iron away when you're not using it. If you've got the iron in your hand and you're doing other things, trust me when I say someone's going to end up with burnt hands. They might not. Well, yeah, either of us. So it's okay.
Or maybe if I drop it, it will have burnt toes.
Oh, that's no, yeah. Oh gosh.
You've already broken ankle. I don't want you to have burnt toes too.
Okay, right. Let's use our makeshift spool holder. So, spool holder here is just that. Maybe I could 3D print something like that. A little spool holder that can kind of go around the back of this. Okay, there we go.
So I guess it's just you, May, and Hobbits, whatever your name is.
Mobius Horizons.
Sorry.
Right. So remember, heat the pad and add solder. Yeah.
Heat the pad.
Heat the pad and the pin, and then add solder. Is it looking a bit messy, the soldering iron? Let's have a look at the tip. Okay, so the tip, stick it in the tip tinner cleaner when it starts to look dark, and dig it a bit deeper than that. Get it right into the big hole. Yeah, you got it. And now do the stab, stab, stab with it in this bit, in the coil. Yep. Now you got it. Nice clean tip. Because if you have your tip's not clean, things won't get hot enough, and it just won't work. And that's where you end up going, why is it not doing anything? Solder's not melting. Right. Okay, you're not quite... Whoa, your finger got so close there. Okay. Heat up. Okay, let's just do that. Yeah. Heat up the pad. Maybe the other pads were feeding the solder. And then these two need a bit more. You want to get nice tense. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Nice tense. Yeah, forget about that piece. Here, yeah, get that out flat. Do not let your fingers get close. Hold on. Look, you got a big S, wonky S. Oh, his actual name is Paul, if that's easier to remember.
Okay, Paul.
Okay, Helena, do you want to make that a straight line instead of a weird S bend? Because how? Yeah, you're having a bit. She's having a bit of trouble controlling the little filament of solder, and the problem is she's kind of it's all a bit bent up. Shall I straighten that for you?
Be careful the end. It might be hot.
Actually, this won't stay hot for long. Do you know why? Because when it melts, it basically takes all the heat away. Now, I'm not saying go touching the end, but kind of know what to do with that. That's yep. And you shouldn't have to put any pressure, so you shouldn't have to push the solder hard. It should just melt straight away. If you have to push it hard, you need to make the leg, the pin, and the pad hotter. So you need to hold the soldering iron a bit longer. Sometimes what happens with the soldering iron, Helena, is... Oh, did you just burn yourself a tiny bit?
No.
Okay.
It just got stuck.
Oh yeah, it does that sometimes, yeah. So that, yeah. Probably want to take the... Yeah. It's cool though. Oh, nearly.
Huh?
So this is Helena doing about 40 solder joints. Now I'm just going to, and I'm keeping a loose eye on you, Helena, but I am going to quickly check how many people we have in. 2 are watching. Okay. And only Paul seems to have said hello. Please do say hello in chat.
Yeah, please do. So we know.
And, remember, give yourself more solder so if you start getting close. That's excellent. I'm actually, again, I mean, I was slightly worried about this, but actually she's taken to this fairly easily, so that's cool. I guess this is funny because my initial introduction to solder is I had, you know, some horrible cheap, it might have been Weller, it might have been some other brand, but, oh, give yourself more. Sick girl, you got it. Yeah, and I probably had the wrong kind of solder at the time as well. I don't know, I just remember it being way harder than she's making it look. She is making it look a lot easier than I did, and I'm very pleased with that. Oh, well, look, she's even going back over some of the legs to make sure it looks cool. It looks good. Let's have a look at that then.
Please do say hello, because I want to know who's here, and I want to see who's actually in. I know there's another person. My dad knows.
Oh, look, there's one missed there. Hold on. There's a lot of...
Thanks, Dad.
That's actually pretty good. Now, that's weird. I wonder what's going on there. I'm going to carefully release this, and that's going to be really hot. So maybe I should give that a minute before releasing it, because it's going to be hot around here.
Chat. Okay.
I'm going to inspect something there, because it's weird that some of them of the... Ah, you see, yeah, that's my fault, I suppose. Or is it? So 1 or 2 of the legs look like they've kind of disappeared inside, and that sometimes happens because sometimes if the iron is at the wrong temperature for the plastic shim, then, you know, sometimes that happens. Yeah, it melts, not enough to make a horrible mess, but enough sometimes for the leg to disappear inside. And sometimes I've had it where soldering these things, these are one of the classic ones where if you end up getting them too hot and then they just kind of end up, they're no longer in their plastic bit. Okay, so now where are they showing these jumpers going?
Because I want to go. Hey, if anyone can tell me on chat, can you hear the fan?
That's a good question.
Or is our new microphone good? Please tell us if you can hear the fan.
Single row 8-way sockets face upwards. Okay, those go face up on top here. So we'll flip it over again.
My actual name's Paul, if that's easier to remember. Yeah, I'll just call you Paul.
Hold on, which single way 8-way sockets? Oh, these two. Okay, right, okay. Watch your face near that iron, darling. Please. That's... They're saying 2. Well, there's actually 4 of those 8-way sockets. Okay, so this one.
Just extras in case you burn them. Maybe they're extras.
Well, either that or they're just doing it too. Now this one I'm going to try and see if I can rest the socket there. And I'm sorry, I'm blocking the main camera. Just trying to get a good angle to get this thing in. There's a tiny hum of background noise that might be the fan, but it also sounds like an aquarium, but it's very faint. An aquarium? That's a strange one. It probably is the fan, and maybe some of the strange distortion that sounds aquarium-like. Maybe that's just the encoding.
And the messing boys messing around and.
Oh, they've gone.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's gone quite. Right, I'm going to do this one in here because that one's a tricky one,
Oh.
and I'll let you do the others after. That one's touching that plastic thing. Okay, and I'll let you do the rest. Yeah. That one's at a very tricky corner.
Guess what? We got the G-clamp.
Yeah, she seemed fascinated with that idea yesterday. Oh, I was about to do the rest, but I said I'd save them for you. Go on, I'll let you do it. I was about to go, do the rest, and then, no, go on then if you want to do them.
You do one?
I've done just one to hold it on.
Way
Do the other end first. Do the other end here, just so it doesn't drop out on you. Oh, a bit more solder than that. Yeah, that's it. Nice tent. There you go. Good. And that's it. Do the rest. Oop. Oh, do you need me to hold the clamp? You got it? Okay, you're doing nicely. Ooh. Ah, yeah, now that's another tricky thing, is sometimes if the iron catches in your old joints and melts them and makes them do funny things, something to watch out for when you're depending on the angle of your iron. Hey, you done it. And stab the cleany thing. Yeah, that's it, and then put it in. Good.
Should I get a bit more of that cleaner thing? Because it looks a bit black on the ends.
Which one? Oh, this. This kind of seems alright, but I get you. Yeah, you can if you want. There's no harm in doing that. Alright, well that's worked out a treat. And
I bet.
did they show? They showed 2 rows of these.
I'm just asking. Can you see the smoke, you guys? Whoever's here.
I'm imagining that.
And whoever else is watching, except for Mobius Horizon, I mean Paul. Whoever's watching else than Paul, please do say hello. Or maybe
People don't always chat. That's fine. That's
yeah,
cool.
that's fine.
Right.
but
Okay.
I
I'm going to
just
do the same procedure. I'm going to get now. This one's going
I
to
like
get
the chat.
really tricky. Oh,
Chat,
watch
chat,
your face.
Sorry.
Sorry. Okay. Now this one is tricky because this one's right up against the corner of the clamp. At least until I
You
get
can-
the 2 in.
So you guys can actually read it. Me and my dad had that idea after yesterday's one. Oh. Okay, there. You can see me now.
Oh
Sorry,
gosh, I can't get a good angle here. This is always the tricky thing. Sometimes when you get something and you just can't get the right angle to get the iron and the solder. Oh,
I
that's
think
not
I
great.
made 'em.
But if I can get the mechanical, then I can move it up in the clamp.
G-clamp.
Okay.
It's the G-clamp.
Okay, look. You see? Do you see my iron made contact with the blue clamp there? Not so blue anymore. It's all right though.
It's not
Clamps are the kind of thing that if your clamp looks like it's pristine and clean, you're not doing enough with it. I think is part of the.
Wow. I'm just gonna play with the G-clamp while you do boring stuff.
Okay, righty. All right. Let me just
Good night,
tidy that up.
Mum.
Oh, that's not clamped in at all. Hold on. Why is that not clamped in?
It's not the G clamp anymore. It's the C clamp. C. It's the C clamp.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
Righty.
Well, now it's going to be the...
I do this one, and you do the next one?
Yeah. Go for it. If you want to. I'll just put the G clamp on here. So I don't get bored like I keep in already.
You actually like the tools. Well, if you've got any questions about the tools, do ask. What is this? What does this do? More than happy. I mean, right time, right place to do it for certain. Okay, right. So we got 2 of those in. Again, let it cool.
Should I do the next one soon? Or should I wait?
Right. Well, I guess the next one has got to be... There's another tricky thing. So look, there's a tricky thing here. This jumper must drop into there, and from what I'm understanding, the there's a 5.0. It's an O clamp. There's a 5 volt and 3 volt switch over there. That must be what the little jumper was for. So that goes.
It's the very big G clamp. See, Dad?
So this is where it gets tricky, because this one, that one, it kind of wants to drop right out. So I'm going to clamp it there. Excuse me, Helena.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Now it's a G. I made G, C, and O.
And then we got another one of those 8-pin headers.
Look at the curtains, Dad.
No one else can see the curtains from the internet.
Right.
Alright, that's that bit done.
Dad,
It's beginning to look like a completed board. Go on then. Can you do some? Yes, of course you can. Sorry,
what
yes.
should I pin in?
Right, I'll put this one in for you.
Okay.
As in, I'll if I tack in the 2 ends and then you do the rest. What about that?
Okay,
Because the 2 ends are tricky. I've just got to get it clamped in there like that. There we go.
I'll play with the C clamp, not the G clamp anymore.
So I'll tack in this end.
I wish I could make it H. I wish
H
there was H clamp.
I don't know. I've not come across a H clamp. I've got other clamps for various kind of sawing and drilling and gluing, slightly strange shapes.
H clamps are very nice because they start. It's the letter that starts with my name.
This is very high. That's because it was yours. There we go. That's a bit better.
Sorry.
Okay, Helena, do you want to do these other? Look, you've got. Do you want to do these 6 connections there then? Oops.
Oops, Jesus.
Go for it.
So where are we doing? Oh, there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you see them. Remember to heat up the joint in the leg, yeah?
Should I do that?
Yeah, because that tip's looking a bit dark. You're right. She's getting the hang of this real quick. Stab, stab, stab when you've used that, yeah? So when you've used that, that's it. Good, good, good. You got it. Yep. And the next one. You notice it's a bit easier when you're not going back on yourself as well, because your iron's not lying across the ones you've just done. So it ends up a bit cleaner. When you do take everything away, don't forget to take the iron. Don't leave the iron heating for a long time on the pan. Hey, that's it. You got it. And it's cool. Clean your iron and then put it back in. Nice job. Okay. And
I'm doing my best soldering. At least I don't have to go chat, chat, chat to the screen.
Oh, here you go. Look, Mobius says.
I suppose if you had that clamps 2 things, 1 each, and it tightens in the middle, sort of a H clamp. Oh, nice, nice, nice.
Oh, okay. Tightens. I'm trying to think. Clamps 2 things on one end, tightens in the middle. Would be sort of an H clamp. I think I know.
I know what you mean, Mr. Mobus. I'm just
I think I get.
Mr. Mobus sometimes because it's easier for me.
Easier than Paul?
Yeah.
How is that easier than Paul?
I like it, and it's funny.
Mobius Horizons. I think Mobius Horizons is kind of a cool name. But,
oh yeah. What about Crocodile Snap?
You're a giggler, you are. Right, there we go. And there's 6 more. Do you want to do them?
Wait, what did
Clamps
I
on
just
each
say?
end.
Clamps
I
on
think I kind of know what you mean.
I know.
I realise we're looking over here now because the chat window's over here, and the monitor camera is still here. This is still, I'm still kind of getting used to. So yeah, we've got chat window on another monitor right the way over there. Obviously, there's also chat on this monitor where we're seeing our feedback, but it's quite delayed compared with the chat window there. So you know, there's a lot of odd little things I'm getting. How we doing?
Ooh, that one was small.
Okay. Did you go back on yourself or something? Or were
A
you...
little bit.
Okay, don't worry. Right. Let's
Oh.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I just nudged the main camera. Sorry. I hope I've not made anyone
I
get...
think I did it because I went in there.
Okay, hold on then. There is... I'll do it.
Don't blame you at all.
No, I think my
Okay,
knee caught me.
Mr. Mobius, I do get you. So there could be clamps on each end and then one holding there. Then it can turn into also a C clamp, can't it?
I think he's talking about a type of clamp. Just reflow
think
that
so.
one. Reflow this one.
Reflow? What do you mean reflow?
Reflow is you kind of heat it up a bit so the solder flows. Look, you just go to a joint like that, heat it up, and the solder flows again. That one, there we go. Sometimes that's all you need to do is to clean up a solder joint is just to reflow it. Okay, now this one. So we got this tiny. Oh, I've done it again. This tiny little capacitor. It's.
Mr. Mobius.
Hold on. It's not obvious to me where that goes. Oh, there. Right. It's there. That's where it goes. Right.
Crocodile snap!
Pop that
I
in.
guess you're called Orion Robots. So, yeah, Dad.
Yeah. Right, Helena.
Mr. Mobius.
Have a guess. Did you see I'm bending these out, these legs? Why do you reckon I bent these out?
Because it's a resistor.
Because then I can let go and it doesn't drop out the bottom. You see? So it kind of holds itself.
It in there?
Yeah, actually, if I do it this way, it's going to be easier for you.
Actually,
because you don't want the big plasticky thing in the way. There we go. Right, go for it.
okay.
So don't worry, I'll chop the legs off in a bit, the long legs. So get it. So heat the right where the pad is. Can you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, watch your fingers. Sometimes it goes a bit quickly when it gets hot. And the other pad.
Goodness.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me just tidy that up.
So,
You've got yeah, that happens. It's all right.
why does it go?
And look, there you go.
Went...
Yeah, that's all right. I've just reflowed that joint, and if I just reflow this joint and this one, oh, we've got too much solder. So, if you've got too much solder, the other thing you can bring into play is the solder sucker. All right, I'm going to heat up this solder, and you're going to press the button. So press the button on the sucker.
3,
Ready?
2.
Go for it. Press the button. Oh, not that button. The button on the side. Yep. Yeah. Did it? Okay. Press the button and keep your hand out of the way. Sorry. As it goes, it's quite a... Yeah.
Violent.
It is quite violent, isn't it?
Again?
Yeah.
3, 2.
Go. Just
1.
do it. No countdown. Yay. Okay. And I'll just... Hold on. This bit.
Go.
Yep. Sweet. Now let me have a look. I'm going to reflow this one here. There we are. Alright, that's looking reasonable. Oh, did I just put my head under the work camera?
I think so.
It would be like two parallel horizontal bars with a tightening mechanism in the middle. The mechanism holds two ball joints
I get it. So it goes
on
like
helping
this.
hands.
I get it. So it goes
Oh,
like
okay,
this.
like the mechanism that holds the ball joints on. Right, okay.
Nice
I
one.
don't know if I've seen one of them. I'm trying to picture this, but I think I
Nice
get
one, Mr. Mobius. Anyone following us? Can I just check?
Oh, right, okay. Oops. Scroll up there. And
Anyone else watching?
2 at the moment. That's all right. That's cool. So the next thing you need is the
wonder
flush
who else
cutters
is watching.
and trim off the legs quite close. Oh, you got it the wrong way up. Hold on. Now look.
I know.
Yeah.
Because then you can get under them.
Not under, but close. Now don't cut off the joint, but cut them quite close to it. That's it. Yep. And the other one. Watch your eyes. I should have made you wear goggles for that. Still just 2. Yeah, I guess I didn't particularly advertise that I was going to go online tonight. I just kind of did it spur of the moment.
Sorry,
certain choices led to I'll either do it now or I end up not doing it tonight, and I'd rather do it than not.
It's unfortunate that Lee.
Okay, you've got 2 last things to make this board a live one that we can plug into a Raspberry Pi and try out later. Okay, so you can plug in the chip. Now, first thing is we're done with the iron tonight, so can you turn the iron off for me? Because actually it's a very good habit and watch out you don't brush anything, so turn it right the way down to the bottom until it goes click. Cool, just answering a question, not making a... still just 2. Okay. So, cool. And let's move the clamp out of the way because we no longer need that.
Whoever else is watching...
Yeah, just 2 people. I know it's be nice if we can get more. Don't worry. I mean, you know, it's been an interesting week. So
yesterday we did another one. You should go and see that.
I think he did.
Really, Mr.
Yeah, he did. I think so.
Mr. Paul or Mr.
Right.
Movis,
So
you want to be called.
do you know how to drop a chip into a slot like this? It's a bit of a pain. They're a bit awkward.
Into a slot like this.
Yeah. So you basically push. So you'll notice the chip has got 2 ends. Hold on, not that slot, this slot. Now the first thing is, Helena, so this chip has got 2 ends. You see the notch on this end?
Notch? What notch?
No, I know. I remember you said you were at work at the time, and I'm glad there was a recording, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, you could go and see it soon.
He's seen it, I think.
Oh.
I think. Do you see the recording? I got the impression anyway. But so do you see the notch here, Helena?
What notch?
At the very end of the chip.
Oh yeah,
The dot.
the dot.
Now, if you look, there was a notch on the board. Can you see the notch in the white ink on the board?
Yeah.
And then I lined up the notch on the chip holder with it.
Oh, so then you can
line up the notch on the chip with it. So make sure it's got the right way up. Have you got the notch on it, or have you got it the wrong way around? Before you push it down, yeah. So line up the notch. The notch is here on this board. Where is it on the chip? You see it?
Yeah, it's on that.
So you push the chip into... Got it? Yeah. Oops, sorry. Go on. If I hold this for you, go on and you do that and I'll hold the board. I know.
I wish you weren't clamp.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Push it down and it should kind of... You can feel it plugging in as you get it, when you get it just right. There's a certain... You kind of get a... There's a feeling for it. Try it. You need to get it straight on almost as well. The legs splaying out a bit. They do that. So yeah, they are. There we are. Okay. Oh, yeah, that isn't going in. You're right. Don't worry. I know that these are a pain in the neck sometimes.
Pain in the butt.
If you do say so.
Well, it is. Because it stopped me from learning how to solder.
Well, no, you got the soldering bit. This is just the last
I
few.
didn't manage to see it live. Of course you didn't. I think you went to work. That's what my dad said. Sorry, I'm just using my funny voice. I'm going to play with the C-clamp.
And I'm doing angle of the tongue motions because actually this is really not...
C-clamp. And now we'll play with the G-clamp. I'm playing with the G-clamp. The G-clamp.
There we go. Right, give it a good push downwards. I've got it in. Push it down nicely. It should just sit kind of... Yeah.
I've got the G-clamp.
Oh no, wait a minute. One side has...
I've got the O-clamp. O-clamp.
One side didn't go in.
I don't think I have the O-clamp yet, but now I think I do.
Trial by fire. The first time I give her a chip to socket, it's one that's got that many legs. I should have given her a 555, eh? Only 8 legs, and those are far easier to seat. This one's actually causing me some grief seating it because the legs all want to pop out the sides. There we go.
Is that everything for the chip? Do you need to solder that down?
Nope. Nope, you don't solder that down. The chip is replaceable. And the other reason we do this is so you don't get the chip hot. Because if you get these plasticky bits hot, it's just kind of not a big deal. But if you get the chip hot, that's no good at all. Now, the only other bit is you can push that and push that probably across, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Doesn't really matter, 5 or 3. But you see the 3-pin header on there? Yeah. Just push it across 2 of the pins, a 3-pin header.
I wish it was a 3-pin header.
It's whatever the board needed, I suppose. Does it go in? Oh, that was a bit.
Well,
there we go. Right, Helena, you've assembled a board. A little bit of help from me.
So, Mr. Mobus, or whoever else is there, and Mr. Mobus, this is what our board looks like. And
so, what we'll probably do, we've been on for an hour, and I've just been informed, or nearly about an hour again. I've just have it on good authority that there is food waiting for us.
Like we did last night.
And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to park this here. I've put the extra bit on Lee's board, which I need to go and plug in and test out later. And I've dropped in this, put together this, or Helena's put together this. And I guess what we need to do is go and plug that into a pie. Very nicely done. It was very nicely done. Well done, Helena. First soldering job. Pretty pleased with that. Do you want to turn off the fan then, and we'll
how do you turn it off?
There's a little switch on top.
Where is it?
Stand up. You'll see it. There you go. Oh yeah.
There.
That's the one. Cool.
Dumb I am.
No, definitely not. Good night, everybody. We're going to stop for tonight. I'm sure there's going to be more, and we're going to have lots more fun. Well, maybe.
Please.
Tomorrow,
Daddy.
tomorrow we have people visiting. It's probably not going to happen.
Oh yeah, Uncle Sean.
Yeah, and I'm going to be on the source, so it's not going to happen tomorrow. Good night. See you, Mobius. And Helena, do you remember the...
Go make stuff and be awesome.
Yeah. See you next time. Bye. Oh, where's my stop button? There's my